Jai Shri Ram. Uddhava Gita, which occurs in the Srimad Bhagavatam 11th Skanda from 6 to 29. That is a total of 24 chapters. Conversation between Sri Krishna and Uddhava, who is his cousin, disciple, and devotee. This is called the Uddhava Gita, and this is one of the 5 Gitas Krishna delivered. So, broadly, the chapter headings in English would be the gods pray for the Lord's return, and the Avadhuta and his 8 teachers, Avadhuta and actually 24 teachers. So, that is discussed in three chapters. And then the real nature of the world, and Jivatmas bound and free, characteristics of a sant and a devotee, and the effect of satsang, and the tree of samsara. And then the 8th chapter is jnana through the destruction of gunas, gunatita, and the Lord, he teaches us a swan, hamsa. And 9th chapter is the glory of devotion and instructions on dhyana. And 10th chapter is powers resulting from bhakti yoga. Krishna says that devotion to Krishna will automatically confer powers, but these are distractions. Then divine manifestations, just like Vibhuti Yoga in the Bhagavad Gita 11th chapter. And then the varnas and the different orders of life. Then vanaprastha and sannyasa ashrama. And then bhakti, that is the 14th chapter is about bhakti, and 15th is about jnana, karma and bhakti yoga again. 16 is about the merits and defects with regard to place and time. We need to be careful about these things also. Nothing in this world is random, okay? And then in the next chapter, different types of categories, all spiritual topics, Purusha, Prakriti, life after death. Krishna discusses all these things. Okay. And then you have in the 18th chapter how one should be indifferent to insults and all kinds of negative impacts that we face in life. And Krishna narrates this with the story of a Brahmin who becomes a sadhu. Then the 19th chapter is Sankhya Yoga, and Trigunas is the next and their effect, and results of evil association, Kusang, and the story of Pururavas and Urvashi, the love story. Krishna narrates that. And the different methods of worship. And one more chapter, which is the 23rd one. In the 6 to 29, the cause of all delusion, and finally the easy way to self-realization, which is karma yoga. So now in this track I just want to talk about the story which Krishna narrated in the 18th chapter of the Uddhava Gita. Krishna says that in Avanti there was a Brahmin who was very rich but led a very miserable life because he was very, very miserly. And as a result of this miserliness, he was only interested in hoarding money. And everybody naturally hated him. Finally, you see, all this wealth was looted by robbers, some by relatives, and some was lost in accidents, and some got destroyed over time. And some was taken away by kings. So finally this man became a pauper, a very poor fellow. And he was very worried about his own future, and he then realized he had never spent any time acquiring any punyam or any spiritual knowledge. So he was very, very miserable. So he was filled with a tremendous disgust and vairagya for living itself. And then Krishna also says how humans spend a lot of time in acquiring wealth, and safeguarding it, spending it, enjoying it, and then they suffer traumas because of the loss of it, and all these exertion, fear, anxiety, delusion ensures that they continuously suffer in samsara. And Krishna also makes a list of all kinds of negative things, negative habits and attitudes which originate because of excess wealth, and all the evils that attend wealth. Broadly, indulgence of all kinds, obsession with wine, gambling, sex, and all these things Krishna mentions. And Krishna also says how even a small amount of money can cause a quarrel, bitter quarrel between family members. And so Krishna cautions us that after attaining a human birth, which even the devas covet, and in case if you are born as a good in a Brahmin family, then if you are disregarding this wonderful opportunity to achieve moksha, then you will meet with an evil end. So Brahmana, even if you are not born in a Brahmin family, if you develop sattvic qualities, then you become a Brahmana. Kuryad anyad nava kuryad maitro brahmana uchyate. If you are a friend of all creatures, all beings, all humans, and you don't eat meat, then you are a Brahmin. Labdva janma mara praptyam manushyam tad vijagratam tadanatya ye swartham granti yatyan ashubha gatim. So these are Krishna's words. That means after getting a human birth, if you are wasting it, then you will meet with disaster. Just like the Kathopanishad says, Uttishta prapya varan nibodhata kshurasya dhara nishita dhurutyaya. So, and Krishna condemns people who hoard money and do not put it to any good use. That is stupidity and it is useless. Now Krishna also says, this man finally, this miserly fellow who has lost everything and has become miserable, he comes to a realization that Krishna, who is the personification of bliss, compassion, is pleased with me, and that is why he has brought me to such a crisis. And by being in this crisis, I have got this vairagyam, which is a raft for the struggling jivatma. That is the beauty of this slokam. That is why I am reading all this. You see, this is the slokam, which is Arjuna Vishada Yoga is there, na? Great Vishadam, misery, crisis, Krishna creates so that you can get rid of all your obsessions and attachments. And then that is the raft. That is the raft. Nirvedascha atmanaha plavaha. This is the phrase you must remember. Nirvedascha atmanaha plavaha. Plava means boat. Nirveda means total loss of interest, vairagyam. Atmanascha plavaha. So this detachment is the boat. This detachment is the raft to salvation. So this is the shloka which is very, very, very attractive. And Nunam me Bhagavan stushtaha. He is pleased with me. Krishna is very happy with me. That is why he has created this hell crisis for me. Nunam me Bhagavan stushtaha. Sarva devamayo harihi yena nito dashameta nirvedascha atmanaha plavaha. So the Brahmin comes to this realization that Krishna has put me in this crisis so that I acquire vairagyam, total detachment, which is the final raft, which is the boat, which is the cruiser, which is the liner, which is the ship, which will take me to the destination called moksha. So this is the beauty of this entire chapter. And one more line in this chapter, Krishna says, the control of the mind is the highest yoga. Parohi yogo manasaha samadhihi. Parohi yogo manasaha samadhihi. The control of the mind is the highest yoga. What is the highest yoga? The control of the mind. And so Krishna finally tells Uddhava that be totally attached to me, control your mind perfectly, and this is the very essence of yoga. So the shloka goes like this. Tasmat sarvatmana tat. Tat is a term of endearment. Tat means father. But it is used as a term of endearment in Sanskrit. Tasmat sarvatmana tat nigruhana manodhiya maya veshita ya yukta etavan yoga sangraha. What is yoga sangraha? Krishna consciousness is yoga sangraha. So yoga means being in Krishna consciousness. That's what Krishna himself is saying. Jai Shri Ram.